I have to admit that as a child, I always hated the feast of the Holy Family because I knew we were going to get two lectures. First, we were going to get one in church in the homily, in which the priest would tell all the children, obey your parents. And then we'd get home, and Mom and Dad would say, now did you hear what the priest had to say and what the reading said? Obey your parents. You know, it was almost presented as if the Holy Family was a perfect family. And in some ways, yes, they were. Certainly Mary and Jesus were sinless, but I don't think their life was very perfect at all. Stop and think of everything extraordinary that happened to them, all the trials they had to go through. First of all, there was Mary. What did she feel? There she was, pregnant and not yet fully married to Joseph. What were the people in the village saying about her? And what about poor Joseph? The anxiety that he had. Even when the angel came to tell him, marry her, what did they have to do? They had to pick up stakes, and they had to go to Bethlehem for the census. And arriving there, there was no room for them. And so here's Mary traveling, rather pregnant, baby's coming soon, and what do they have to do? They're in one of the caves where the animals are kept. Just imagine even the smell, let alone anything else, of that little cave. And then, all of a sudden, they had uninvited guests. All these shepherds had suddenly appeared. And the three wise men must have caused them a lot of wonder. And then the angel tells Joseph, pack up, get out of there. Herod wants to kill the child. And so they become refugees, and off to Egypt they go for a number of years until Herod dies. And then think of Mary, pondering all these things as the Gospel tell us. And then they come, of course, to the temple to present Jesus, and Simeon and Anna are there. And Simeon tells Mary, a sword is going to pierce your soul. And then, years later, they bring Jesus and they lose him. Now, we really can't blame Mary and Joseph for losing Jesus because the custom was that extended families traveled together. And so Jesus was probably with cousins, and so they didn't think anything of it. But think of the anxiety of suddenly losing a child. I know I've been either in a grocery store or a department store. All of a sudden there's a little kid that's suddenly lost, the panic that takes place, and the mother's looking around. Yes, life is full of all these little challenges that are part of there. And what about Mary enduring the death of Joseph, and then watching her son going from place to place and being part of his passion as well? No, their life was not normal. They carried the cross, and we are invited also to carry the cross as well in our own hearts and in our own lives. And so our lives are not perfect, and they're not meant to be perfect. But if we're not perfect, we are called to be holy, God's holy people. St. John in the second reading invites us to think of who we are. Think of the love that God has lavished upon us. We are called to be the Holy Family in this, our world. Today, throughout all of the Catholic Church, we are inaugurating what is called an ordinary year of Jubilee. Every 25 years, the Church invites us to a special program of reflection, of conversion, of drawing closer to God, of trying to become a holy people, just like the Holy Family, enduring all the things that are there. It's a time to think about fasting. It's a time to think about penance. It's a time to think about works of charity, of reaching out to other people as well. Because families are not meant just to look in on themselves. But yet, families need to be a powerhouse of prayer and a powerhouse of love and forgiveness that is always there. I think one of the dangers that we all face in the world today is that families are so busy. We find that when we start having our sessions of preparation for First Confession, First Communion, and Confirmation, parents are so busy and their kids are so busy. We need almost, in a sense, to slow down And maybe the Jubilee year is a time for us to rethink what our priorities are, because our priority has to be family, because it's in the family that we learn all the lessons of love and of life that we need, that equip us for our whole life as well. Families are not perfect, and so we also learn the element of forgiveness. But hopefully we learn about God, because the only way to know anything about love is to have experienced it. It's always sad when we encounter people who didn't grow up in a loving family, and the struggle that they have all the rest of their lives trying to learn what this love is and searching for it. We can pray for them, and we can reach out to them as well. And so if we have no time to talk to each other, no time to sit down for a meal together, no time to pray together, then we can't become holy people, and we cannot become a holy family. One of the initiatives in this Jubilee year in our Archdiocese will be to talk about the sacrament of matrimony. First of all, to help couples to recognize the great grace and love that God is giving them in their marriage, but also to reach out to all those couples, especially those in COVID, who did not get married in the church, whose marriage is not a sacrament, not a way of bringing Christ into their homes. We'd like to reach out to them as well. There's information in the bulletin, and there'll be further information coming on this program as well. But let us try to struggle to become holy people. Whatever the challenges of life may be, can we face them with hope? Can we face them with faith? Can we face them with love?